Destroy the child. Corrupt them all.
Make fun of me all you want. This is their plan, people. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders. More blood of this. More blood.
Destroy the child. Corrupt them all.
Make fun of me all you want. This is their plan, people. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders. More blood of this. More blood.
Destroy the child. Corrupt them all.
Make fun of me all you want. This is their plan, people. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders. More blood of this. More blood.
Destroy the child. Corrupt them all.
Make fun of me all you want. This is their plan, people. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders. More blood of this. More blood.
Bam. Okay, Big Arena is open. For you very fine people, it's on the Reina channel today. Here, I'll get a link. Did it just die? What the hell's going on? Okay. So maybe there isn't one. Entropy's been fucked recently. It's not sending out notifications. Was banned on Twitter again. This always seems to happen before any kind of big Epstein news. They ban me on whatever social media I have left. You can get banned for anything. They're just like, oh, you're not allowed to threaten violence to any type of racial, ethnic, or group. Which I agree would be fucked up, but that ain't what I did. And they just ban you anyway. You do an appeal, and they never look at it. You sit there for a year and a half waiting for them to just reject your appeal, which is what they'll do anyway. So big news around 1 in the morning, Paris time. Jean-Luc Brunel, or Jean de Cul, Jean the Ass, died, let's say, suicided in his jail cell, hung himself or was hanged by bed sheets. Not like he was a high-profile number 3 guy in the Epstein crime ring that they should have been paying attention to. Nah. He's in jail over a year. Never went to court. They actually let him out of jail for a few days and then put him back in jail. He was utter dog shit. You can go ahead and slap Rainbow Frog. This is good news. And I know some people are bummed. Like, well, we could have gotten some information. No, yeah, well, that was never going to happen. There was that potential, at least, when he was alive. But He never saw a day in court, never had a trial, no discovery, nothing, right? As soon as it looked like that was going to happen, he up and died. He tried to maintain his innocence. This fucker was already in a 60-minute piece for raping girls. He set up Karen Models. Karen Models is from Israel, Tel Aviv. They had a foreign branch in the U.S. which got rebranded to be MC Squared, which also has offices in Tel Aviv, one in Paris, Miami, New York. And a boy actually was murdered in New York. He was being housed there by Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein. Jean-Luc Brunel and a couple of his cohorts used to go around to Paris clubs and pick up girls. And they allow underage girls in these clubs because it's France. And drug them, GHB them, whatever. I'd say hot Cosby, but I think Cosby was innocent. They would roofie these people and then play around with them in a limousine, take them to an apartment, rape them. Well, fucking disgusting. Drugging little girls and raping them. And he'd procure contracts for Epstein. They'd take their passports away and threaten them, say, you better do this and that for our clients or else. Paid them, made them think like, oh, this was your choice. He's a pig. He sent Epstein a set of 12-year-old girls, I think triplets or twins, forget now, for his birthday. 12 years old. They all got raped. And it's like everybody knew. Just like Weinstein. Everybody knew this fucker's thing was him and his buddies would come pick up girls, drug them, and rape them. And he got part of the cartel, the syndicate, you could say, where they'd send these girls around in a circle from one rich pervert to the next, which included Epstein. Epstein became a partner with them at MC Squared, financed the majority of it. And then Brunel, when Epstein got arrested the first time, tried to sue him. Didn't really serve him paper. It was just a stunt, you know. Oh, I don't like that guy. Because he got caught, right? The cohorts got immunity in that case anyway. The sweetheart deal from Barry Kersher, excuse me. Purple Palm chimes in. Says, yeah, Jean-Luc Brunel didn't kill himself, and I'm okay with that. Say hi to McCain and Epstein from us, scumbag. Dancing Rainbow Frog. Yeah, fuck him. If there's a hell, he's in it. And down there with McCain and Epstein. Screw him. Someone else just chimed in. I think Cosby was innocent too. Yeah, Cosby was more like, there's no evidence of him doing shit. It was just a bunch of women screeching. It's like a very wealthy guy. And they're like, well, if we all pile on at the same time, you know, and say the same things, they'll nab him. He used Quaaludes with some girl back in the 70s, but that wasn't against her will. That was the party drug, and she asked, do you have any of these? He said, I can get some, and then they did those. But they'd already been having sex. So I guess you could say, well, you did an illegal drug. That's pretty fucking different from drugging and raping people. Whatever. There's so many of these assholes that do that in Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino and his little foot fetish, and half the fucking producers for Nickelodeon and shit, they're all pedophiles. You're catching them at Disney, they're catching them at CNN. There are a lot more pedophiles than people ever knew. And not just like 15, 16, 17-year-old girls, which is a different category, by the way. There's sex with a minor above 15 and sex with a minor under 15. So apparently that is actually a legal distinction. And Brunel was accused of both. Virginia Giuffre had sex with him. Not like she wanted to, but was forced into that by Epstein and Maxwell. He was very good friends with Prince Andrew, who just basically settled for 12 million pounds, which is about $16 million. Which, you know, probably be worth about $6 soon with the way inflation's going under the Biden administration. Anyway, so they found him dead. Death by bed sheets, right? Hanged himself. That's being investigated, by the way. The French are not sold on that. It's, the coroner's like, yeah, he died by hanging, and he assumes it's a suicide. Not sure who else could have gotten into the cell or was already there. But, of course, like always, the cameras didn't work. The guards didn't do nothing. Blah, 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 right? Aiden Daniels chimes in with a high five, says, speaking of Nickelodeon pedos, do you know anything about Dan Schneider? Yeah. Oh, actually, I know someone that knows a lot about him, named Rupert Wilson. He's, well, I've lost contact with him because we used Facebook Messenger, and I've been banned from that too. I lost a lot of contacts with that, and I fucking beg these people. I'm like, please add my Skype or something, because you can't DM me on Twitter and Facebook. Facebook's been gone forever, so is Twitter. You can make new accounts, they ban the new ones too. I got banned for making fun of Tim Pool's retarded takes on the Civil War. I didn't even call him stupid. I just said his takes were stupid, because they were. It's perfectly allowed on Twitter. People do it all day, every day from the left. But, what he said was just factually false. It wasn't even a subjective thing. P. Dizzy with 49.9. Rainbow Frog. A party popper. Looks like a bottle of wine. Not sure what the next emoji is. And two more. Oh, it's 2 wine glasses clinking together and 2 more rainbow frogs. Yeah, fuck this guy. Like Jufrey said, it's another chapter closed, right? It's funny. At least, he didn't tell on people, but we already know who they fucking are. I built you a giant fucking map. I'd be sued into oblivion. I mean, I'm naming billionaires, right? Like, if I was wrong, I'd be fucked. But I'm not wrong, because these people did this stuff. And he wallowed in jail the last year and a half of his life, except for a few days in November when they let him out. And then died. Whether he got killed, hung himself, whatever. All the evidence, the models know. They're like, he raped me, he raped her. They came out and said it. They don't get anything out of that. So, by the way, he dissolved MC2, or his role in it, in 2019, and like the same day set up another modeling agency in New York called Identity Models, which is still around. I would not be working for Identity Models if I were you. If you know people there, you might want to ask them, hey, what's going on there? Because that's a Brunel operation. Now, he may be dead, but they pass the torch. They surround themselves with like-minded weirdos, right? If you're in the news... What the hell? Oh, my phone's going off from something, whatever. Rolf Pedersen says, cheers, thanks for your work. Yeah, it's a good day. Jean-Luc Brunel is dead. He could have admitted to some things, but we got the information by other means anyway, right? And we know what he did. And mainly, his main cohorts were Maxwell, Andrew, and Epstein. Epstein's dead. Andrew basically had to have his mom pay his way off. And then Maxwell's already in prison the rest of her life and still facing a perjury charge on top of her sex trafficking. Where the fuck is this phone? Excuse me, I got a thing buzzing its nuts off over here. Oh, it just stopped. Oh, nope. Okay, this must be important. Of course they do this in the middle of a fucking stream. I don't have commercials anymore because Streamlabs got yanked. Let's see what I can do. Here, I'll play. I'll find a clip to play. Oh, there's Uncle Ted. Bam! I know you probably want to watch Uncle Ted, but you should, pay for it. It's called Ted K. There's a movie out. It's probably his last year on Earth. He has terminal cancer, but I'll tell you what, the Unabomber outlived Jean-Luc Brunel. Tommy Wiseau says, thoughts on Trudeau's political future. You mean Cass Trudeau? The bastard son of a fucking dictator who became a dictator himself. He's really shot himself in the foot because he's doing and saying the quiet parts out loud. Like, I've had all this crap happen to me. You get labeled a Nazi, right? For anything. Like, you stand up to government, they're just going to call you a Nazi, which is a way of depersoning you. Then they go after your finances. So in my case, I'm not allowed to use Kickstarter, GoFundMe, Indiegogo, PayPal, Patreon, none of that stuff. Had built them up. 15 years on PayPal. I don't know how many years on Patreon, but because of Gabe Hoffman, those all went down to zero. They crushed my Patreon July 2nd, the day Glenn Maxwell got arrested. So it was about to blow the fuck up. And, of course, they canceled it because of a video from, like, 2008, which was way before Patreon even existed, where I was critical of, from an atheist point of view, I was critical of a religion. And, there's one religion out there that the religion, the ethnic group, and the race is all one thing. So they're like, oh, you're picking on me. I'm like, no, I'm not. I think we're all just people. You put it in your head that God chose you or whatever. I don't believe in God, so I don't think that's real. But anyway, Trudeau's fucked. So he's done all these steps, right? Label you Nazi, go after your finances, go after your crowdsourcing, and then lastly, they start freezing bank accounts, which has already been done. And that's boomerang right back in their face because the leaders of this trucker movement that have had their accounts frozen are just getting even more money than ever. Because even though they get rid of crowdsourcing and this and that, there's always one way, right? But when they freeze the bank, then even the new money they got is still frozen. I encourage you guys, use the Native Canadian banks or Native American banks. They can't fuck with those. They have sovereignty. And almost all of them, if you are a Canadian citizen or U.S. citizen, will allow you to put your money in there. It's a foreign bank, but not a foreign bank. It's native status is unique. But anyway, that's what I'd be doing. And it's political suicide for the PC crowd to start freezing banks on a Native American land that's supposed to be sovereign. That'd be another headache for them. You're not supposed to be able to do that to a Canadian bank or a U.S. bank either. I mean, it's a fucking bank. Government's not supposed to come in and freeze funds like you're goddamn Al-Qaeda. Of course, they don't do that, right? The Trudeau government gave $500 million to neo-Nazis in Ukraine, right? They've helped finance al-Nusra Front and al-Sham in Syria. So they'll give money to actual fucking terrorists, right? Head-chopping lunatics. They get money. They'll give money to Wahhabi Salafists that murder little kids, machine gun people up against the wall and support Sharia law. They'll get money from Canada and the U.S. They'll support the Bandera groups, right? Racial separatist, Russophobic thugs. That gets money, right? They supported terrorists in Baluchistan. They've supported terrorists in MEK. Canada has too. But not the working class Canadians. Oh my goodness. They're going to freeze their bank accounts and take their money away. Yet they give your tax money to actual head-chopping terrorists in Syria and Iraq and Libya. And, of course, they participated in the war in Afghanistan where even when they're fighting the Taliban, they're supporting the Northern Alliance. which is a bunch of opium dealing faggot pedophiles. People committed suicide because over the agony of having to protect these assholes. They'd take little boys from the other tribe in a cave and gang rape them. Demasculate them, humiliate them, just raping little kids. They'd hear the moans and cries, and they had to protect these people. You wonder why there's so many veteran suicides. Because they know. You're not fighting for freedom and blah, blah. It's corporate interests, and we are on the side of the most violent thug terrorist you can imagine. It is a dictatorship. Always force a dictatorship to act like one, as Mike Rivero says. And Trudeau has shown his colors. This is a class war. Big Pharma has them by the short hairs. He wants to force mandates. It doesn't make any sense science-wise. It sure as shit goes against the Canadian Charter or the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights more specifically. They don't care. He called half the parliament, including Jewish members of parliament, Nazis for supporting the working class. He honed in on a sole swastika flag, which was photographed by his own personal photographer, so he probably put it there himself. And we're like, see? Nazis. Which side's saying papers, please? Which side is discriminating people? You know, vaxxed, unvaxxed, right? Your little scarlet letter mask. Who's acting like the authoritarian National Socialists of the 30s in Germany? The Canadian government. At least the Trudeau portion of it. There are some in government that see which way the wind's blowing and are going against them. But they weren't doing it before. They rolled over and grabbed their ankles for every single one of these measures until the working class, redneck style, stood up for themselves. We always said, this isn't going to end. This is just how you live now. This is not a passive thing. It ends when you stop complying. Non-compliance is the only way. Oh, violence don't solve nothing. Bullshit. If you don't resist, they do not give up power voluntarily. There's nothing more permanent than a temporary government program. 2 weeks, my ass. The way this ended is people refused. You know why? Florida, Texas, these areas got rid of mask mandates forever ago. Because the people who live there wouldn't do it. And they had no way to enforce it. They're like, they're not doing it. Because they're Southerners. And the South has always stood up to tyrants. That's that Jeffersonian spirit. Mostly Virginians. Rich history of that. Giving their fucking finger to the government. Jefferson, Madison, Washington, Patrick Henry, they're all Southerners, all from Virginia. And we finally got that state back after like 14 years of shit libs in a row. Just horrible governors, one after the other. Youngkin could beat just anybody. Anybody would do better than Northam and McClue for the Gilmore and Warren. And it's just been hell. But when you stop complying, they don't have a choice but to get on your side. They don't have power or anything. Now, the Canucks are out there with their cops, trampling people with horses and beating them with batons. They're targeting old people. They're targeting people who can't really resist. Like a bully, going after the weakest among the crowd. Hold the line. The whole world's watching. We're all proud of the Canadians. And it looks like there's a bunch of Americans up there helping them. For once. And it's not from the American government or anything. These are just citizens on their own going, yeah, fight for freedom. These are brothers and sisters. We're all North Americans. Pure Palm says the honk industrial revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for turd mentality. Dagalon. Hey, I got it right here. I got them side by side. Dagalon right next to a Confederate battle flag. That was the battle flag after the war, too, when they were fighting against confiscation of private property by Union carpetbaggers and cotton inspectors and treasury collectors. Thieves would be more accurate. That's what it was. They've Jimmy Hoffa'd an entire country. And you're seeing them in Cleveland and other cities, even in the North. Like, when the North gets on board, you're super fucked, because that means, like, the whole country's on board by then. That is where the majority of people still live, too. And they're sick of it. There are a lot of rural areas in the North that got that Southern spirit, too. They're not city slickers. They work with their hands. They know what a job is. You don't just collect or own. And they've seen it, man. They've seen, other working class people are sick of it too. The restaurant owners, everything from your barbers to your grocery stores, any kind of retail, clothing, what have you. Their shit was shut down over a big fat nothing burger that you can't do anything about. And the people responsible for creating it, who work with the communist Chinese, have gotten away with it. 100% they did gain of function research in Wuhan. It's genetically traced back to that lab where they had bats with SARS-CoV-2, and they're fucking around with spike proteins and creating chimera viruses. That was Fauci. That was EcoHealth. But that is illegal in the United States, so at least on our end, some people could be punished. There's nothing you can do about what happened in China. They don't care. They don't have any rules for labor, environment, poisoning humanity. They don't care. It's a communist shithole. But there's a reason they had to pay for it to be done in China, because you're not allowed to do that in the United States. This cannot end just with lifting the mandates. Dr. Fauci belongs in prison. He perjured himself before Congress. Throw that fucker in jail. That would help Rand Paul become president. Fuck Donald Trump. Like he's gaffy for Israel, blah, blah, blah. He's a fucking... There is going to be a red wave in 2022 in the U.S. and Canada. Pelosi will no longer be the speaker. They'll have a majority Republicans in the House, which means they could impeach Biden for the same thing that Trump got impeached for, quid pro quo to Ukraine, except he's guilty and he's on fucking tape. Bragging about it at a CFR meeting. And it's got 77,000 views on Bitchute. I put up the entire anti-corruption the Ukraine anti-corruption unit had this 5-hour video. It's translated into English. Like, the first 30 seconds is not, but it kicks in. And it's so much worse than that little clip where, son of a bitch, you fired the president. It's so much deeper than that. I implore you to go see this. Just go to my Bitchute. It's like the second most popular video or third, and, at least watch some of it. It'll piss you off. Or... you can watch Corn Pop's Revenge here on Odysee for $1. There's two versions of that. One's better than the other. The one that I charge for is obviously the better one. It's Ukraine, it's China, it's Russia. It's profiteering everywhere with the Biden family, and they're criminals. Diesel hunters, murdered people. No one cares. Just like Hillary Clinton's lies from fucking not just Benghazi and Russiagate and spying on the Trump campaign. She's lied about everything. Assad gassing his own people, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Every pre-war lie she supported or created. They supported Al-Qaeda in Syria The DIA reported on it. They wanted Salafist groups against Assad. Why are we aiding Al-Qaeda? It's not make Al-Qaeda great again. It's make America great again. No. If you put these Democrats in, it's going to be, fill in the blank, because it could be Al-Qaeda, Mexican drug cartels, whatever. They support all of it. They support criminals everywhere, including the U.S. Like, oh, you get arrested, you're out the same day. Was it under $950? No problem. Cops can't come. In fact, let's just get rid of cops. Let's get rid of police, because there's some shitty ones. So let's just get rid of the whole institution. Shootings are up. Homicides are up 40%. This is the party of criminals. That's what the C and DNC ought to be. Supporting the criminal networks. CNN, more like the child nudity network. Bunch of fucking sick perverts. Of course they support that party. There's a Shekelchat on Odysee from Ariel Suarez for 5. Says, heading there, sir. I need to watch those vids. Yeah. Bookmark that on Bitchute. It's on the Rye Dawson Bitchute, which is linked on ANC Report. In fact, fuck, I can pull it up right now. Hold on. I forget I have that ability sometimes. I put this on Substack because they're not sending out emails on Entropy. Something's glitched out over there. Let's go to Bitchute. BitChute's the OG alternative to YouTube too, and I still have more stuff over there than anywhere. I guess. Here we go. Yeah. The full Nabu leak, 77,144. Here you go. I'll play just a little bit of this, and I'll help skip it for you. Here's the Cappy.
День, уважаемые зрители, слушатели, коллеги, благодарим за внимание к нашей пресс-конференции. Тема нашей пресс-конференции – новые факты международной коррупции и внешнего управления Украины. Что будет обнародовано сегодня на пресс-конференции? Сегодня мы обнародуем записи телефонных разговоров с голосами, похожими на голоса Петра Порошенко и Джозефа Байдена, свидетельствующие о фактах международной коррупции и госизмене на высшем государственном уровне. В дальнейшем, по ходу пресс-конференции, с юридической точки зрения, по слайдам и текстам, прошу понимать фамилии Порошенко, Керри и Байден как людей, голоса которых очень похожи на голоса действующих на тот момент времени высших должностных лиц Украины и Соединенных Штатов. Как к нам попали эти записи? Эти записи нам передали журналисты-расследователи. По их словам, ребят, почему это...
I'll pause it there. Okay, so that picture, I don't know if I can land on it again, but it had Devin Archer and Hunter Biden and Chris Hines and Joe playing golf. Well, anyway, listen to this.
If there's a way to get by this problem of replacing the Prosecutor General, Shekelchats, because from our perception, he's blocked the cleanup of the Prosecutor General's office. And
by the way, notice this John Kerry, not just Joe Biden, talking about this. This was December 3rd, 2015. And he's talking about replacing Prosecutor General Shokin. He's blocked the cleanup, the Prosecutor General's office, It's Biden, it's Kerry, and of course, both their kids, right? Kerry's kid, Biden's kids, they're the ones that set up Rosemont Sentka in China and working for the communists. Where's that photo? Man. Y'all should watch this whole thing if you have the time.
We're not going to give you the $1 billion.
Now, this is the one you've probably seen before. He ain't going to get his $1 billion, right? It goes on. This thing is the short one. It's about an hour, but I have like 5 hours of this stuff, okay? Out of the 10, but I cut it because what they did is they're speaking Ukrainian or whatever, and then English, it's not subtitled. So, I just cut out all the Ukrainian stuff. But anyway, man, this is some damning stuff. Extremely strong motivation, financial support the situation. I hate the idea to keep on certain blah, blah, blah. Man, that's pretty good on BitChute, 77,000. Can you imagine if that had been allowed on YouTube? But, right? There's Hunter Biden loves hooker feet. I don't think I can click this because what's in there is so nasty. But if you never saw the laptop, there it is on my Bitchute and some. Fuck. Let's see. Let me go back a page. Oh, this one, 88,000 Hunter Biden crack and foot job. If you want to puke in your mouth a little, watch this one. I'm just going to play it little tiny. Yes, we know. Oh, gross. Fucking gross. Okay. It's blurred out at least. He's just getting foot job with his pot belly. With little kids, by the way. Gross. Fucking gross. There's so much of that shit, and they're like, there's no laptop. I'm like, bitch, please. We have the footage from the laptop. I've got, unfortunately, hours and hours of that shit, too. Where he's doing crack, meth. The girls in the videos look very young. It's all walks of life. It's mostly white girls, a couple black girls. And he's just openly talking about his corrupt business deals and stuff. Like, we can make this and that. All that shit was on the laptop and leaked. It's available. It's on BitChute, right? You should see this one. This the Biden botches his sticky finger denial, right? This was pumping. I could play them one day, but anyway. Bookmark my BitChute, add it, whatever. If there's, at least watch the most popular videos. All right, at least. And a lot of these were a lot larger on YouTube, obviously, and then they banned the channel for telling the truth. Let's check the Bigot Arena real fast. Ooh. Lone Star Texan, the Maple Leaf battle flag is based. Oh yeah, this one. Is that? I don't know if that shows up. It's pretty based. Dagalon. And Inertia says, how much longer do you think Wexner has before he's Brunel steamed? Yeah, right? Les Wexner better be fucking watching his back. This guy's paranoid enough. He's pissed off a lot of other mafia people. And man, okay, I've got some Wexner information that is in my New Mech film. I have the trailer for that. I'm tempted to show it, but I sent it out to donors from forever ago, the ones I had contact for anyway. So that's how that is. But I'm telling you what, man, March 3rd, 4th, 5th, if you're in the D.C. area, Northern Virginia, Southern Maryland, whatever, pop across the river to D.C. I'll be leaving the press club, but, I will have these with me. And if you want to come to a film screening, we're basically going to gather the troops. We're going to hang out. I'm going to go to Lincoln Memorial with the racist Lincoln quotes and the Confederate flag and stuff and do some DC shit, depending on the weather and all, if it doesn't snow or something. And then we're going to pop into a secret location that will be announced, in person, because we can't have people sabotaging this crap. And I'm going to showcase that film. And it's mostly on how Israel stole the bomb, but it actually ties into the group that becomes the mega group, like the generation before that. And Wexner is sort of the bridge between both. He's old enough now. He's from the first gen. Epstein and those guys came later. Some of the younger Bronfmans came later. But the older Bronfmans and the Wexners, Steinhardt, and so on, were that OG group from the 40s. It's all in the film. The Kennedy assassinations, everything. This is how Israel got to be as powerful as it is. You gotta see this movie. And I'm screening it March 3rd, 4th, probably the 5th. I gotta get up at the crack ass and leave on the 6th, but I'll do it anyway. Come in person. Come, I want to meet a lot of y'all anyway. And, bring bacon. No. I'll have like a suitcase of bacon coming back to Japan, or beef jerky or something. So how much longer? You know, he's got one foot in the grave already. He's already retiring from his positions, passing his power off to others. The thing is, the next generation of these crooks aren't very bright. Like, the apple didn't it didn't work. It's when the Soroses die, the Steinhardts die, the Wexners die, when those people are all in their 70s or 80s are gone, then there really isn't a good replacement. I'll tell you, the next to go is going to be Peter Nygaard. He's 80s, and he has information on Prince Andrew too. Andrew visited Nygaard, and he was another one like Brunel that liked to drug women and rape them in the ass. Fucking gross ass leathered up mullet bitch. He's a Canadian billionaire or 100 millionaire, whatever. I don't know how much is sunk into assets or whatever. I don't know how liquid he is. Who gives a fuck? He's behind bars now. Looks like they're keeping him in Canada too. They're not going to extradite him. They flirted with that idea. But he's got tons of information. He didn't do this all by himself. He's got routine customers. But who do you say it to? Just some cop? You know what I mean? The press is not interested in these stories other than to limit it. They want to narrow it down. Damage control style. That's why we need alternative media. I'm going to be on with Addy Ads tomorrow. And some woman, I've already forgot. I just say yes to whatever nowadays. Like, yeah, you got a show, sure. You know, it's fucked, man. Let me get back to Odysee just in case anything came in. You can watch these on VK as well. Yes, one came in from, let's see, the beginning. The Capitalist Pig is their name for 5. I don't see what the chat was, though. It's just a picture of a coin soaring through the air like a comet. Can you move the replay of Hellstorm to Bitchute? Yes, I can. I have a Hellstorm on Bitchute anyway, but there's no searchability. So I can upload it again there. It's on ANC Report. If you just go ancreport.com, type in Hellstorm, and you can watch it there. I believe that one's on PeerTube. Because that one's another one that's like, yeah. It's also on brand new tube. I think that nobody knows who it is. That I think it's Oven Magnet or something, or Oven something. The one that has Spinning Squirrel and an interview with David Irving also has Hellstorm and some other base stuff that you're not allowed to put anywhere. They wouldn't let me put it on Rumble. Free speech my ass. But yeah, somebody said don't play it, I'm eating. Sorry you saw a naked Hunter Biden getting a foot job. There was so much of that, and we've had all this before the presidential debates. And the press is like, no, nothing to see here. That's been debunked. It's Russian propaganda. That's what they actually said. There's no laptop. That's a fake story. Russian propaganda. And then Twitter banned the New York Post and anybody else that would say anything about it. If you link to it, you got your Twitter banned. Right? I did. And I got banned. But these are the little fairies that say, you know, you're gone if you say Rittenhouse did nothing wrong. Even if you said that after he got acquitted by a court, they'd ban you. That's how butthurt they were. They wanted him to be a white supremacist. They wanted a witch to burn. But there was just nothing there. Anyway, fuck Jean-Luc Brunel. I hope all the victims feel a little bit of joy that he was miserable enough to hang himself, or better, he got murdered, so he had to suffer, you know, not wanting to die as somebody strung him up and hanged him. They should fear the rope, but it's the coward's way out. He didn't want to go to court. It would get so much worse. It'd bring down everything. It would bring down Brunel's wing. International rape ring. It's not even. I like the French in general, but one thing they got really fucking backwards is sex with children. It's bad. It's illegal. But they're like, 16. No, not. No. That's fucked. I understand teenagers having sex with each other. Probably shouldn't, but they're gonna. But man, if you're not some fucking 40, 50-year-old guy. Plus, it's just drugging people against their will. Liquor them up with alcohol, put some things in the drink. They pass out, take the clothes off. They do whatever they want. They can't remember or know what happened. They perfected these drugs. It's sick. Drugging and raping little kids. Oh, you want to be a model? It's such a sleazy profession, right? You want to be an actress? Suck a dick. The casting couch is very real. You want this job? It's the kind of job where it's like acting requires some talent, but mostly you got to just be hot. And you'll get the job. And the ones that'll get on their knees for it are the ones that get hired. Makes you relook at a lot of celebrities. Like, yep, she's been sucking dicks. Or he has been sucking dicks. Because that's how you get those positions. I know a lot of people in Hollywood that couldn't make it because they refused to do that. I mean, they had the skill. They know how to act. But that wasn't enough for a lot of these producers. It's been like that since the age of Mickey Cohen, blackmailing celebrities, sexual blackmail. Lone Star Texan, toss some money to New Mech film, but I'll sit back and wait. I know the story anyway. Yeah, I mean, I think you know the story, and then you probably know a big chunk of it. But I have tied this in to other criminal networks. It's not just about like Zalman Shapiro and stuff stealing uranium. It's way bigger than that. I can't even summarize it. You're going to have to see this. We're at 102. Does somebody want to send in 7? We're at 102.9. Somebody want to send in 6 or 2 $3 donations so we can get to 109? This is the fucking Brunel death party. We should be rolling in it. Yeah, they don't give a shit. Like, you know how bad it looks to kill Brunel in jail? But you know how much worse it would look if he started talking? They have to do it, right? You think they would have done that to Maxwell, but she was much more high profile. Like, Brunel's arrest wasn't even news. I remember going on Atwood's show and saying, you know, they arrested Jean-Luc Brunel. What? He didn't even know yet. That's how low key it was. Like, yeah, they grabbed him out of an airport, Charles de Gaulle, I believe. And people made up these stupid stories. Oh, he was going to go to Sierra Leone and then this. No. Man, that's Q stuff. Shut the fuck up. But this asshole been just openly living in Paris. He wasn't hiding or anything. They could have grabbed him any time. A lot of these associates are, right? Sarah Kellen, openly, like, she was all in the Maxwell trial. They don't care. Too many important people are tied up on this. It's the expendables that are getting thrown under the bus. The ones dumb enough to record themselves doing it and stuff like that. Yes, this is live. Somebody asked me. Is the donation link disabled on your end? Well, that sucks. You can try Entropy. You can try ANC report. I don't know what's going on with Odysee. I consider it extra. And somebody said wallets can't be confiscated. Yes, they can. They can end the entire wallet for everybody. It's the state. And it doesn't matter. They can kick you off an exchange or freeze it. And then you can't cash out. Or, worse, you do cash out and then they just freeze it in your bank. and you're not allowed to touch it. There's a million ways for them to fuck you over and take your money. Unless you have cash in your fucking pocket. If it's digital, they can take it from you. Shit coins are going up and down, but you know, what's the interest rate at banks? Like 0.0001% or something? Basically zero. It's screwed. That's why they want you to move digital. They want to hype it up and go, yeah, put it all in this exchange. Put it all in this debit card, whatever. Digital, you'll be able to just, hell, they'll microchip you at one point and you just go ding and get your groceries. It's convenient, right? Watch Minority Report. With a flip of a switch, they can just shut you down. You can't buy or sell anything. Cash is king. It's screwed. Uncle Ted was right. If you get into this dystopian nightmare, this techocracy, where you get rid of cash, or they follow you around with apps on your phone, how it will start, and then it'll be in your body. They'll be able to control every move you make. If you raise a finger to the government, they'll just shut off your everything. They do this anyway with influencers, right? Oh, we'll just take your social media away. Oh, we'll just take your crowdsourcing away. We'll take your payment processors away. And then no one can support you. That's what happened to me. If I had all that shit, I was set to make like $250,000. Can you imagine what would happen if someone like me had $250,000? I'd put Empire Unmasked in the fucking theater. You know, there's a lot of damage I could do to Zog with money. Especially that much money. No, I all got knocked down to zero. We got to e-beg now to stay afloat from month to month just to pay for my kids' schools and rent and shit. Shouldn't be like that. Journalists and other journalists look at that and go, well, I don't want to be like him. So I'm not going to talk about Israel or this or this or this. Because that's how you get canceled. I fucking hope this Truth Social allows some amount of truth. And a way to monetize it. That would be something else. Can you imagine that? An alternative Twitter video platform that you could also monetize that had eyeballs on it. That would do them in. That's the most dangerous thing Trump could do. Better than being president is fixing the fucking media. But for 4 years, he didn't do shit as his own supporters, or at least enemies of his enemies, got knocked off one at a time. Canceled on this, canceled on that. He didn't care until he got canceled on Twitter, which I believe was the most popular name in the world at like 80-something million followers. When it happened to him, then he scrambled around to build something. Should have done that day one. Support free speech. God damn, I wish Bitchute had Shekelchats and live stream like that. If they can't offer it to everyone, it should have been like, well, if you've got 10,000 followers or more, you're in the club or something. I don't know. It is what it is. Please add the Substack and the Rumble, the Odysee, and so on. All the links are on A&C Report. It takes one day, it doesn't take all day, but it just takes one time to go in, add, get it all set up. You never have to do it again. Substack is free. You can become a member. If you're already a member on A&C, it's just a mirror of the material, so you don't have to sign up to both. I mean, you can. The only advantage of Substack is you'll get a notification. But it's basically every day, so you can just bookmark A&C and go there every day and get around paying. But, fuck. At least Brunel's dead. Another one, if you got an Epstein map, go ahead and update that. Another fucking X on another face. He's dead. Epstein's dead. You got a whole bunch of them in jail, from Weinstein to Maxwell. Bronfman. They're all in prison. Prince Andrew paid his way out. Alan Dershowitz is still in the crosshairs. They could put all the focus on him. With Brunel out and Andrew settled. That is the logical next target, is Alan Dershowitz. That's a doable creature, too. It's not like Les Wexner, billionaire. You're just talking about Dershowitz. Rich, but not that rich. Put him in handcuffs. We have the Deutsche Bank trial still going on. We still have Maxwell's got another perjury trial going on. I want to see a lot more of these fuckers getting arrested. I want to see Leon Black in jail. Give him hundreds of millions of dollars. To Epstein. Bill Gates should be in prison. He was fucking little kids. The Clintons, both of them, should be in prison. Especially Hillary. We'll see. We haven't had a single arrest of any Epstein cohort since Biden's been president. A lot of them got nailed when Trump was a lame duck. It's like almost out of spite. Like that December, they got Nygaard, they got Brunel. Like they're started dropping like flies. The last month and a half he was president. You could have just arrested them right away. When Epstein got jailed, you could have went and arrested all of them. You know where they live. You know what they did. They should be on trial. But they got money. The Kushners should be in jail. I guess he can't go after his own family. Well, Charles Kushner did go to jail. He should still be there. Steinhardt should be in prison. If there was any justice. They put Hoffenberg in jail and then he got out, but Epstein got away with it, right? Darren Endike, his lawyer, he should be in jail. Like, you're abetting criminals and you know it. But they get away with it every fucking time. Alright then. I will see you on Telegram here soon. Well, I had a question on entropy, it looks like. Well, it's not a Shekelchat, but I'll read it anyway. My son, 12, would like to know what you teach. He does not believe what I have told him and all the great work you do, like economics and history. He's listening now because I want him to hear the truth. Well, I used to be a history teacher, and I've also done economic lectures in colleges, like in Kobe, Japan. And I was a goodwill ambassador for Nara, which is a prefecture in Japan next to Osaka, from 2010 to now. And those are my official teaching positions, like at schools, colleges and high schools. I've also been a language instructor. I've done a lot of teaching, but on every level, really. I wrote a preschool book. Okay. My family has a lot of teachers. One of the Dawsons wrote math textbooks, which are used in Indiana and Illinois. Work for NASA. We have a lot of math people, but that's not my forte. Mine's history. So I taught history. I got a degree from William & Mary, College of William & Mary, Virginia. Big nerd school. And my brother and I do Dawson and Dawson, DawsonTime.com, teach a lot of U.S. history, American Civil War, Revolutionary War, and so on. But, I think recent history is super important. Like how we got to war in Iraq, how we got to war in Syria, Libya. And it's always based on lies, including Vietnam. The Gulf of Tonkin never happened. Signal Intelligence came out with that in 2005. We got a lot of declassified documents on the uranium theft from the United States. Came out in 2011, 2015. But this happened 70 years ago. We're still getting documents declassified about JFK. And that was in 1963. You can tell the future is going to have access to a lot of the fuckery that's going on right now. Excuse my French. I don't know how you can't cuss and be mad when you're talking about people that are murderers, child rapers, organ traffickers, the most disgusting things in the world. They torture people. They dry board people at Camp No and Gitmo. They all talk about the waterboarding. That's like on the least extreme end of the spectrum of the stuff that they actually do. Popping eardrums, medical experiments, all that. They raped little kids in Abu Ghraib and filmed it. And some of our Congress got to hear the audio from that. And nothing was done. Nothing was done until some pictures were leaked about with the pyramids of the people with the bags on their heads and electrodes on their arms. A couple low-level schmucks got thrown under the bus. Gardner in England was her name. But nothing really happened. Purple Palm for 3 says Shekel for Brad's question. Oh, thank you. There you go. Almost at 1. Oh, it kicked it over 109 because we had British pounds also earlier. GPB. I believe that's what that one is. Yeah, it's based that a 12-year-old is listed. I shouldn't. Oh, I guess it's nighttime in the U.S. 12. What history are you doing at 12? I guess you're doing standard U.S. history and probably learning about the world wars. Well, they always skip World War I, don't they? They're just like, that happened for some reason. And then World War II. It's hard to know where to start. But I think when I was a teenager, around, I guess, 15, 16, we used to have the History Channel, which used to cover history. Now it's like pawn shops and ice truckers, whatever. It doesn't do any history anymore. I think we really, really need an actual History Channel, don't y'all? And there used to be some YouTubers that would do that, whether it was ancient history, Alexander the Great, stuff like that, a lot of Roman conquest and Chinese. Those are all gone. Woke mob. And you think that's pretty neutral. They're just talking about historical stuff. No. Anything worth a damn is being censored. It's like George Carlin said, they want to keep you stupid. Just smart enough to read the signs and run the machines, but not enough to challenge them. They don't want you having access to real knowledge. I was talking the other day about the MOVE bombing. 1985, Philadelphia. They firebombed an apartment with a helicopter. Just boom. On civilians. On a blacktivist group. Anarcho-primitivist. Kids, everything were in the apartment. This isn't 1885 or something. Of course, they didn't have helicopters then, but 1985. They used a helicopter to drop a bomb on an apartment full of black people in Philadelphia. Did you know about it? No. There's no BLM screaming about that. Because that's not what it's about. BLM's just self-aggrandizing fucking profiteers with a theme. Lone Star Texan for 3 says, do you think... I think you should do an ancient idiot's history lesson. Well, it's starting with where, how far back. I think explaining the ancient, biblical history of, that area, Palestine, Levant, how that got going is worth knowing. Since considering a certain group likes to lie and say, we were in here for 6,000 years. You should know. You should know how coins got created. You should know the history of paper money. All these things are still important today, right? How banks got started. The history of economics, not just the history of wars. We always learn the history of wars. You should learn the history of economics. You should learn the history of science. How we started figuring things out, the battle between materialism and philosophy, and the development of the scientific method, and our whole Western civilization. Really, what separates it from everything else was embracing science earlier than everybody else. And that's a history of philosophy, because science wasn't called science. Even in Isaac Newton's time, physics was philosophy, natural philosophy. They believed there were natural laws that were discoverable, that were unchanging, that you could figure these out by observing and testing nature. And then you can make deductions and inductions from that. This is science. I'll tell you what's not science. Fauciism, where they just dictate something, no one's allowed to question it. And by the way, we're going to make a few $1 billion off these jabs we're going to sell you that you cannot not have, or you're not allowed to work or move or do anything. You got to have your vaccine or you're not a real person. Buy my product or else. It's like a lot of bad religions that are like, love me or burn forever. Well, that's not a real choice, is it? So he says, I'm kind of an idiot. It would help people like me. Well, I don't think you're an idiot, but I think not knowing something doesn't mean you're stupid. It means you're ignorant, and there's a big difference. You can fix ignorance with knowledge. You can't really fix stupidity. If you're dumb, you're dumb. I mean, you could quit doing drugs if that's why you're dumb, but yeah, it's not much you can do about that. But you can fix ignorance really fast. Open a book. Clear NFO slapped down a 25 on Odysee. Good to see. Bacon money. Fuck yes, thank you. That's exactly what that's going to be spent on. I got a plan. When I go to the United States, I'm getting a fucking steak and I'm getting bacon. And I might wrap the steak in bacon. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I miss my food. All right, 118 on entropy. So putting the link out on Substack was definitely well worth doing. I hate having a Substack that's just a link to Odysee or whatever, but it is what it is. So I am going to end this and immediately upload it to Odysee. There's a copy on Rumble. There's a copy on VK. And I will have an embedded version on ANC Report. And we'll have the audio up, just audio for ANC and Substack for members. Get you some gear. We'll see you in March in Washington, D.C. Maybe I'll meet people at the Lincoln Memorial. You know, I'll probably do it at the Jefferson Memorial. But it would be funny to meet people at the Lincoln. Just follow the smell of sulfur. He's very easy to find. And then we'll move from there to go watch the film. But there's some stuff I want to do there. I want to give a little speech about Honest Abe. Seriously, fuck that guy. Like, almost everything you've heard about the Civil War is absolute trash. Or it's true, but they're omitting, the other 90% of the story. And, it should make you question everything you've ever learned in school. It's after about, I don't know, 5th grade. I mean, they teach you how to read and write, and they teach you basic math. But then it's just propaganda class. Like, even your English class is like an extra historical propaganda class, right? Like, you're reading Anne Frank or something in English class, and then you have even more piled on in your history class. And like, well, Anne Frank should be in your history class. And English should be English class, like learning proper grammar and learning how to write better and whatnot. And yeah, I don't know. Like, historical text, I'm glad, but usually English is literature, not history. I guess that example's kind of both. But it's weird. We don't learn about the numbers for the American genocide of Indians. We don't have Native American memorials in Germany, right? But we've got Holocaust memorials in the United States for what a political party in Germany did in Poland. And it's good to know that, but it's weird that, like, that atrocity, why? Because we didn't do that one? Is that why it gets all the attention? Like, we don't know how many Americans died in World War II. You know how many French died. You know how many British died. You know how many Russians died. You know how many Jews died, though. Because that's important. They decide what you need to know and what you don't need to know. And I'm going to get in trouble if I talk about that any more than I have. So I'll see you on Telegram. Have a good one. Peace. Hello? Did you make a new one?